Way too early MLB Awards predictions. We're going to go through the MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, and Manager of the Year in each of the leagues and tell you who we think is going to win those awards. Caveat, we cannot pick someone that won last year. So there's no Shohei Ohtani, there's no Aaron Judge, Tarek Skubal. Those are the obvious picks. We're trying to give you some different options here. Before we do, make sure you guys are subscribed to the Windup so you don't miss out on any of the baseball content we're dropping at you. Big shout out to our members. Just big shout out to all you guys. Really incredible support once again as we keep going through this really slow baseball offseason. James, National League, American League. Where do we want to start off first? I'm going to give you the keys.
I want to start American League.
Ooh, okay, all right, go with it.
I want to go with someone who I say in the show is one of my favorite players in the game all the time, someone who probably should have an MVP by now, someone who I think team will surprise this season. As we get early on, I have a lot of this team in my awards predictions.
Oh.
Bobby Witt Jr., American League MVP.
To be fair, I did think you were going to go Bobby Witt. That's your guy. I mean, listen, he's so good. He's ridiculously good. And if there is a guy to get on a soapbox for, I do think he is one of the clear and obvious options simply because he gets kind of lost in the shuffle because of all the other unbelievably great players in baseball right now.
Oh, definitely. The Bobby Witt Jr. season from a few years ago when he was like worth 10 wins above replacement but didn't win MVP is one of the highest ever wins above replacement for a single season in baseball history ever, and I think one of the highest also, of course, not to win MVP. And I'm not going out on a limb saying I think Bobby Witt Jr. could be the most likely MVP besides Aaron Judge. If you look at unnamed gambling odds right now, and not saying any names because we don't have any sponsors right now in that area.
If someone wants to sponsor us, we'll be happy to talk about what your odds are.
Closed mouths do not get fed. Eyes and ears are open for the Windup for sponsorship from a gambling company, but it's Aaron Judge, then it's Bobby Witt Jr. So it's again, he's if we're not doing Aaron Judge, I think most likely guys Bobby Witt. Last season was a bit of a dip power wise. I think that it just coalesced again this year. I think that Royals team will be much improved. I think that lineup will be much improved. I think that you could see a nice 30-50 season from Bobby Witt Jr. with a 315 average and sterling defense at shortstop.
It's unbelievable how good his defense was because when he came up, it was bad. It was not good, I believe, his rookie year. And then since then, he has been defensively one of the best shortstops we've seen in a very, very long time, along with the fact that he's such a monster at the plate. Bobby Witt Jr., absolutely great pick for me. I kept in the same division. And I'm thinking at one point Jose Ramirez has got an AL MVP. He's got to get an MVP. This guy is the king of finishing third. This maybe is the season where he finishes second. Maybe he finishes first. I'm rooting for Jose Ramirez to do it. He's kind of put the Cleveland Guardians on notice, letting them know that he will not sign an extension until they prove that they're going to put a winning team around him. They still haven't done it. Shocker. I don't think they're ever going to. And I think Jose Ramirez is like, well, I'm really going to have to ball out. I'm going to have to, I don't want to say play selfish baseball, but I think we're going to see him steal even more bases, hit more home runs, just be like, I'm going to be in control of everything that I could possibly do. His defense has been great as well. He's going to get paid, and I think Jose Ramirez is going to be the American League MVP.
I thought you were going to go Julio Rodriguez for this one because my thinking was who could win a division and not be Aaron Judge. And I think that, again, I'm probably going to pick, as we get closer to the season now, the Royals I think will be my fun division winner pick this season. But I think that Julio and the Mariners, that team still has so much work left to do this offseason, which is crazy.
But also there's so many good players that fit exactly what they need.
It's not a high bar they have to clear to get players to fill out that lineup. But if Julio Rodriguez is one of those guys similar to Bobby Witt, similar to Jose Ramirez, where you have incredible play on both sides of the ball, like you could see a 10-win season.
It's just like, please do it in April and May, man. Like, show up at the beginning of the season. Maybe they need to tell them that spring training started like January 15th and get them in the facilities early so that the season starts moving quicker because when you get that second half Julio, that's when you're like, this is one of the 10 best players on the planet.
But there's also, like, I remember it used to happen with Robinson Cano a lot, too, especially earlier on in his
Teixeira,
career.
too, your boy.
My boy, Martin, Jesus Christ. I mean, that doesn't play here, but sometimes you just don't like hitting in the cold. Hitting in the cold sucks. Like, no matter what level of baseball you're playing, hitting in the cold absolutely stinks. And even just, again, scrolling through unnamed odds for AL MVP, Judge, Witt, Cal Raleigh, Nick Kurtz. I'm seeing a lot of places where he's high on the list. And then you get to Vlad, Julio, Gunnar, who I considered, Jose Ramirez, rounding out that top group.
Yeah, Gunnar was someone I considered. Mr. Kurtz, I think, again, it would take such a monster year. And especially because we're basically picking who we think is going to be better than Aaron Judge. And I feel like it's difficult for a guy who plays the first base position, he doesn't play particularly well defensively, to be able to accumulate the numbers that would ever be able to beat Judge, where some of the guys I think that we gave are maybe not as elite hitters as what Mr. Kurtz has showed us, but they're more well-rounded players. That being said, if the A's win the AL West, that's the guy who's getting it. And that A's team's going to be sneaky good. We'll talk about them probably a little bit more later in this video. Also wanted to mention, too, with this AL MVP discussion, neither of us mentioned Cal Raleigh. It's not a detriment to him. It's just he hit 60 home runs as a catcher and didn't win it. Probably going to be almost impossible for him to do it unless he hits 60 again and Aaron Judge gets hurt.
Can I give you one crazy long shot?
Yeah, give me a crazy long shot. I'm going to look at a long shot, too. I'm going to think about one.
50-1, Tarek Skubal.
Yeah, I mean, the pitcher one's always fun.
Go into free agency and just go nut. Just go ballistic. Throw 225 innings, strike out 300 batters. Like, do something that we haven't seen in a long time and actually just literally drag the Tigers by their collar to win that division.
There's going to be a little chip on his shoulder, too, because of all this insane arbitration stuff going on with him and the Tigers right now. So I could see that one, too. And if you're looking at another pitcher, too, just the idea of Garrett Crochet, like how many innings he gave last year, how good he's been, and how good he was down the stretch, he has a chance to absolutely ascend to that same level.
I also like an award like this, like when you know there's such a clear front runner, like there is like Judge, not even to the same level as Ohtani. We'll talk about that in a second for the NL side. You want to pick someone that like possibly could take the division from him. Because that's a way you can build a narrative to do it. So there's a way, like, again, like similar to last year, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., if he takes the World Series into the regular season. But just like long odds on Roman Anthony or Garrett Crochet, because those two guys can build such a narrative if the Red Sox are able to win a division over the Yankees.
Yes, which would be fun. All right, let's talk about that AL Cy Young. I just mentioned him. Garrett Crochet was my pick.
Okay, there you go. I wanted to do Crochet, but I figured you would, so I wanted to go crazy and get my guy Brian Wu.
There you go. I honestly was only thinking that you were picking Brian Wu. Like,
good.
That you got your two guys at the top there. It makes sense, but either Crochet or Wu, again, beating Skubal is going to be tough. Garrett Crochet was unbelievable last year and didn't really even actually have a chance to beat Tarek Skubal, which is kind of funny. But these two guys do the things that Cy Young caliber pitchers do, which is strike out a ton of batters, absolutely attack the strike zone, have electric stuff. Wu probably needs to throw some more innings consistently. That's going to be the biggest thing.
This year he got there, but he still got a little bit hurt at the end, which sucks.
Exactly. It's crazy to think about, but for a Cy Young to win it, you need a full healthy season. You kind of can't miss 2 starts.
Yeah, unless you're Blake Snell or Corbin Burns back in the day. But it's with Wu, he got so much better last year, perception-wise, but it was just the health that wound up going right for him, especially for 9/10 of the season. He still is seeking like true breaking ball quality and breaking ball consistency he's never had. He has like the tight gyro slider, but he still mostly just manipulates fastballs around the zone. Like it's command and kind of just like bulldog mentality pitching. And he's that good at doing those two things. Like there's hilariously still upside on Wu. And I just love a Seattle pitcher. Like it's funny to me that he's the favorite of the Seattle pitchers right now, odds-wise. He's listed ahead of Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, which I think is a very fascinating thing.
I mean, I could buy the Kirby just because he looked so bad last year. Gilbert's the interesting one. He dealt with the injuries, though, last season, so maybe that's partially why, too.
Totally. And again, I think Crochet's, again, he might be one of the similar to my Bobby Witt take. He might be one of the most underrated pitchers in the league.
Yeah, just because Tarek Skubal and Paul Skeens exist. And I think Crochet is the clear, 3 or at worst 4 in Major League Baseball in terms of best pitchers. And if he wasn't in the same era as those other two guys, I think he'd be the clear number 1.
And he has the most difficult, by far, park situation to pitch in than those guys. Like
just face righty all the time in Fenway Park.
Being a left-handed pitcher in Fenway Park is not a great spot to be, and consistently having to face teams like the Yankees and the Blue Jays, and last year having to go down to a really difficult place to pitch in Tampa Bay. Like it's pretty amazing what he was able to do last year, and he's unquestionably, to me, the 3rd best pitcher in baseball.
So you went Brian Wu, I went Garrett Crochet. All right, let's talk about the American League Rookie of the Year. James, who you got?
I'm sticking with my Kansas City Royals, and I'm going with Carter Jensen.
Fan of the channel. Follows me on Instagram. That dude is a ball player.
Carter Jensen last year, it really flew under the radar because of, I think, the Royals. I'm not going to say they were out of it towards the end of the year because they actually were not mathematically eliminated until like the 5th to last day of the season or whatever it was. But he came up and he had 70 plate appearances and a few weeks of ball. And he looked like he could possibly have some of the best power production in all of baseball. Elite bat speed, great swing decisions, hit the piss out of the ball. Looks like he can definitely handle being behind the plate. We just saw rookie catcher and Drake Baldwin take home Rookie of the Year honors. Like Carter Jensen, because he's not going to play catcher every single day because no catcher does, he might hit enough to where you're like, there's no stopping this guy.
Man, on his Instagram story, he showed a video of him hitting the other day in the cages and just hitting absolute ropes. And he had a song, and I wish I could remember what the song was, because I messaged him. I was like, incredible song choice. And he was like, you know it. I can't see the story. It's disappeared. But I sent him elite song choice, fire emoji, and we said, yes, sir, you know it. Like
he responded?
Oh, yeah. We're close. Me and Carter Jensen are like this.
We got to get Carter Jensen on the windup then knowing this. He's my American League Rookie of the Year pick. But this, I think just there's a lot of pop in that bat. There's a guy that could be special. And he's not even, again, he's not among the top 7, again, from unnamed sportsbook right now favorites. It is a very tight glut at the top of Rookie of the Year, and it will be a lot to beat a guy like Tatsuya Imai, who's going to just have, or Kazuma Okamoto, because they're just veterans who are probably going to play every day. But there's a lot of good rookies in the American League right now.
Yeah, the thing that I like about Carter Jensen, too, it's very similar to kind of the Drake Baldwin-ish pick that I had last year, where he might not be the starting catcher immediately, but the guy that he's competing with, like Salvi, is old. I don't think the Royals truly want to throw out Salvi 160 games, catching as many as he possibly can if they want him to be at his best. Carter Jensen might play himself into the opportunity to be that everyday catcher, with Salvi taking some reps at DH more likely.
And weirdly, this whole thing kind of relies on what winds up happening with Jack Caglione. Like, he has to be able to handle right field. So then Salvi and Vinny Pasquantino can split more DH, so Carter Jensen can get the time behind the plate. But I think the Royals, after seeing what happened last year, I think they're going to prioritize getting Carter Jensen. I didn't even mention he's a lefty bat. Yes. A power left-handed hitting catcher is one of the coolest things you could ever do in a baseball field. Like, the guy
Drake Baldwin did that last year. Yes, Cal Raleigh, I know, is a switch hitter, but left-handed hitting.
The one thing that does work against Carter Jensen is he is much younger. Like, Drake Baldwin came up as a bit of an older prospect. He was still a college player. Carter Jensen was drafted out of high school as a third-round pick, I want to say, 5 years ago.
Second or third, I think, yeah.
Yeah. He's going to play a lot of the season at 22 years old. He's going to turn 23 mid-year. Like, this is... If he is good enough to win Rookie of the Year, it's kind of like a league watch out moment.
Is he the same age as Francisco Alvarez?
I think he's actually 1 year younger. Let me check right now. He was born in... I'm pulling it up right now.
That's kind of funny.
July 3rd, 2003, if you want to feel old.
Okay.
Francisco Alvarez, I think, was a 2002. If I'm
okay.
I got Francisco Lindor by accident. Francisco Alvarez was born 2001, November 19, 2001.
It's like 18 months.
18 months, yeah. 18 months younger than him.
Damn, it's still so crazy. All right, my Rookie of the Year, Kazuma Okamoto. We talked about it.
Kazuma.
Kazuma.
We've been corrected by that a little bit in the comments. I listened to his press conference. Kazuma
Okamoto. Just the idea of he's going to play every single day. They're going to use him at all these positions. Also a little narrative, too, I think. I think people really like what the Blue Jays are doing over there. And the fact that he'll be able to play multiple positions, I think the people who vote for these things will be like, that's so valuable that he can do all that. Also, the combination of the good bat-to-ball skills plus David Popkins makes me think that there's just going to be a real chance for we should have all been in on Kazuma Okamoto.
Have you seen his projections?
What are they?
I'm not
a projections guy.
The BATX is year over year the best projection system to project hitters. It incorporates the most StatCast data, but it still doesn't have bat speed involved. That's the Oopsie projection system. Has more bat speed in it. That comes from Saris and Jordan Rosenblum, whom I compete in a dynasty league with both those guys. Jordan's a monster. The BATX has Kazuma Okamoto for 27 home runs in 130 games.
Yeah, that'd be disgusting. That'd be sick.
That'd be crazy. So that means that puts him on more than a 30 home run pace. I don't know if I buy that all the way, but even his lowest home run projection is by Steamer.
Seems like 20, 21 probably.
22.
Yeah, okay.
And that's also in 130. If he actually hits like that, this will be like a whoa. I think there's a lot of ways that Okamoto can lose some playing time in a way that he won't be able to win this award, like just simply being a righty and competing.
Or simply being not good in the field anywhere.
Yeah. But that contract was them betting that he's good in the field. But the fact that it's him, Addison Barger, Ernie Clement, and Nathan Lucas basically competing for 3 spots.
And that's Santander too.
Kind of Anthony Santander. I'm almost giving Anthony Santander runway. And again, we're recording this a little bit early. So maybe the Blue Jays have Bo Bichette or Kyle Tucker by now. That would be another spot that Okamoto has to compete with for. It's just of him being a righty and Lucas and Barger being lefties. Like if there's downside in the defense, if he's not able to hit for power, he will lose PT. But I think it's a good bet.
Yeah, definitely a good one. All right, last one for the American League, Manager of the Year. This is fun because this is like the way that I think of Manager of the Year is who's going to be the surprise team this year? Who's going to surprise me the most, and who am I going to give the blind credit to as the manager? And for me, that's Mark Kotsay and the Athletics. I was on them last year. They were not very good, but you saw sparks at times of where you see the potential. And you've got Mr. Kurtz, you got Jacob Wilson, Tyler Soderstrom, Brent Rooker, Lawrence Butler. The pitching is where they desperately need help. It's horrible, but they have such a good core of hitters right now where I'm hoping that they just kind of play almost like old school Rockies baseball where it's like, we know we can't pitch. We're just going to try and score 10 runs every single game. It's going to be a 4-hour baseball game.
Also, if Jacob Lopez and Jeffrey Springs are healthy, I'm not saying in any galaxy those are 1 and 2, but they're like a 3 and 4, which is nice to just have mid-rotation depth.
And this could sound crazy, but if as a major league team with the offense that they could have in that ballpark, if you just have like the 25th best pitching staff, you probably still win like close to 80 games.
Also, your boy Elvis Alvarado, my guys Justin Sterner and Tyler Ferguson. But it's such a hard place to pitch, and usually those extreme hitter parks are very difficult to kind of overachieve because you just need pitching. And like unless you get something real out of Gunnar Hoagland, I love Jack Perkins, JT Ginn showed something. This is like a bet on Gage Jump like showing up and being like a 2. But
they need a pop.
I think they're going to wait on him too. Again, maybe something still happens, but based on my other awards, my American League Manager of the Year, Matt Quatrado.
I knew that was going to be
good. I think he's a good manager. I think he's had that team move in the last few years, especially where they talent-wise where they've been. That Royals team is just the American League Central is such slop.
Yeah.
And whoever gets off to a hot start, I mean, that's the opposite happened last year with the Tigers. But like you gotta just hold everyone off in the year. They have the best player, I think, in the division. I mean, the best hitter in the division. I like that Royals team. I think there's a lot more to work with there than meets the eye. Yeah,
they just again getting more Major League Baseball players, which seems like they are. So that makes them even so much better because taking at bats away from like Michael Massey every day is like huge for this team.
And just thinking about, again, like the fact that they plugged a bunch of these holes, like kind of not actually really, like the fact that just getting Isaac Collins is a professional outfielder who can hit 7th every single day. Like we'll see what happens with Jonathan India and Michael Massey at the second base platoon everyone's talking about. Hole. But like just as a rotation in a bullpen where you're like, here's Cole Reagans, Michael Wacha, Chris Bubich, Seth Lugo, Noah Cameron, and Bailey Falter. Like that's 6 guys where you're like, cool. And then this bullpen, these aren't like world beaters, but in terms of having to rise above the American League Central, Carlos Estevez, Lucas Urseg, Matt Strahm, Schreiber, Nick Mears, Alex Lang, who a couple years ago was like legit close. Like these are guys.
They also have Kolek, who's going to sprinkle in. He was great down the stretch for them. Kolek.
I think he got hurt.
Did he?
I'm not. Yeah, he got hurt something. I'm not sure where.
Okay, but he was great. He was great down the stretch, and then even Ryan Berger down the stretch was really has good stuff.
I think Berger got hurt. But both of those guys can definitely pitch as major league depth. Berger's a fun spec. Did he get hurt? It's showing he's not injured right now in roster resource. Maybe I might be off there, but they actually have like 8 starting pitchers that they're okay going into the season with, which is a really nice place to start.
Good. All right, let's move on to the National League. NL MVP, James, who you got?
Do we have the same guy?
I don't know.
Juan Soto?
I didn't pick Juan Soto. I figured. I honestly was like, I think you're going to take Juan Soto. I went a little more you actually, and I went Corbin Carroll.
Ah, okay. Give me the spiel for Corbin Carroll because how's that team get to the playoffs?
On the back of him and Ketel Marte. I think that's how they get it because again, they're going to have no pitching. It seems like I don't know how, if, when, what world they'll ever have a good rotation and bullpen this year. It just doesn't really seem possible. Similarly, I just think Corbin Carroll might do a thing where like we look back and it's like 35 homers, 30 doubles. He might have 20 triples and he might steal 40, 50 bases with great defense in the outfield, a cannon of an arm. I think there just might be like one of those years where there's just a bigger appreciation for Corbin Carroll than we've seen because now we've seen it for a couple seasons. People are starting to get hip to it. Yeah. If all things come together, you get an MVP caliber season out of him and the Diamondbacks maybe make the playoffs. I think that's a way for him to get there.
I think this, and again, we're not having any repeat award winners.
Yes, because Shohei Ohtani is the MVP.
To pick Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is probably going to enter the season as like such a favorite to win the MVP that there's a minus next to his name. Like
I believe right now he is minus 750. I believe, or something like that. Like something, or maybe that was the Dodgers to win the division.
I saw minus 110. I think minus 110 makes a lot more sense.
But that's still insane.
The nature of these MVP awards, there's like 9 guys in the whole sport that can win them.
Yes.
So it's hard to like have a lot of fun with these picks, but that's why I kind of like Soto because there could be a very fun narrative that builds around the Mets where I think the baseball world is kind of shrugging them off right now. I know the Mets fans specifically are really outraged at how the offseason has gone. Again, when this comes out, maybe change. Maybe that opinion changed, but the National League East I think is a bit softer than it has been in recent years. I think it still has the perception.
At the time of recording.
At the time of recording, things could definitely change, but I think there's a perception that the Braves and the Phillies are still juggernauts, and I think both of those teams have more holes right now at the time of recording than they've had over the last few years. My other pick for this is Ronald Acuna Jr. because I think he might show up.
That was the other guy I was considering.
I think he might show up and just go nuclear because he can do that, but
if he even runs a little bit, he has a really good chance.
Like Soto last year, he basically didn't even start hitting for 6 weeks, and he still came in third for MVP. Like there could be a narrative forming this year where if the Mets
he was third. My bad.
Yeah, if the Mets can surprise and win the division, because Geraldo Perdomo kind of got screwed this past year, but if Soto kind of takes this over as his team, he puts up 40 homers again. He has like a 180 WRC plus,
steals 30 again.
1,000 OPS, and like the Mets surprise and like win the division with like 89 wins.
And
that could build it.
You heard what he said about the defense, right?
What?
Oh, you didn't see the clip?
I saw something that our guy Master Flip translated.
So
I don't remember.
He was asked about last year you stole more bases, and he talked about that was a conscious effort. Like I wanted to become a better base runner. He goes, everyone talks about how I'm not good in the outfield, so I'm going to prove to them that I can play right field. He goes, the Juan Soto that you expected, the last few years defensively, that's not what you're going to see from me in 2026. He's like, I want to be known as a complete player. I can do it all. He goes the conversation of I could play first base, sure, if that helps the team win. He goes, but I think I can help the team win even more by playing better defense in right field, and I love hearing that.
Yeah, especially because if you could just project him to be an average defender in the corner outfield, he'll be like an 8-win player.
Yeah.
So if you want to, and again, these MVP awards the last few years, I don't really love it, but they have kind of come down to the WAR award.
A little bit, yeah.
So if he's an 8-win player, he probably will have the most WAR in the National League, and that's it.
That being said, it's also Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. Just clean sweep, yeah.
If you twist my arm, I might parlay both of those again because that's just those are the best guys by far.
If they allow it, that's probably one of the smartest bets you could make all year in terms of futures.
Yeah, it's a fun one. All right, National League Cy Young, who you got?
Blake Snell.
It's gonna happen again, my guy.
It's gonna be one of those years where Blake Snell, all he has to do is get to 180 innings. That's almost impossible. That's going to take 30 starts of 6 innings apiece for Blake Snell. Can he do it? I'm not sure. But if Blake Snell touches that 180-inning pitch mark, he is going to win the Cy Young. It's that simple.
I went similar idea, similar concept, different pitcher. Hunter Green.
Yeah, I like it.
If Hunter Green could ever be a 180-inning guy, he will win a Cy Young. The fact that this year he was able to expand on what he did in 2024, where it felt like there could have been some good, bad ball luck, but the stuff is just that good. The splitter was at least passable in a bit more of a sample against left-handed batters, and the fastball and the slider are unstoppable. He could just put that team on his back, and he might do so.
Yeah, and doing it in that ballpark is also always so just incredible to pitch as well as he does. And again, this is Paul Skeens. Until 100%. Paul Skeens doesn't pitch, this award is Paul Skeens, but we cannot repeat. So that's why he's not being mentioned.
And that's why it's kind of always scary to be betting favorites in bets like MVPs or Cy Young, because if you go on the IL for 2 weeks with a lat, a quad, a hamstring, your elbow starts to bark, you will not win the awards. It's always hard to bet those.
Like with the favorites for these awards, you're betting on their health because you know they're going to be the MVP or the Cy Young if they're healthy.
Here's a fun question for you. I just thought of this one now. What is more likely to happen? Shohei Ohtani does not win the National League MVP, or Shohei Ohtani wins the National League Cy Young?
What's more likely to happen? Oh, man. That's great.
Good question.
Oh, damn it. That's one of the craziest questions ever, because it's got to be the Cy Young, because if he wins the Cy Young, he's winning the MVP.
If he just pitches 75 innings, he'll win the MVP.
But he can't win the Cy Young. He can still win the MVP, not win the Cy Young.
Of course.
He can't win the Cy Young and not win the MVP.
Yeah.
Because that means he threw 150 innings. And if Shohei Ohtani throws 150 innings, baseball might be broken. He might put up a WAR number that's unfathomably high.
Imagine who could have beat him for the MVP.
Exactly. Who could it possibly be? So I'll pick the Cy Young is more likely than that's crazy than him not winning the MVP. That's nuts.
There's some very funny Cy Young odds down the board too. You can get Mason Miller for plus 10,000. Roki Sasaki's listed plus 8,000. That's crazy.
I couldn't think of a worse bet.
Andrew Abbott 6,600.
Oh God. Okay, there it is. There's a worse bet.
It's fun. No, Mitch Keller 3,500.
What?
Yeah. Unnamed sports book.
Mitch Keller? What? Who the fuck is betting Mitch Keller?
No, we gotta move on though. But Cy Young's fun.
Rookie of the year.
This one I hope are the same.
Noel McLean.
Noel McLean.
Yeah, I'm
do one.
I'm doing the home cooking for this one. I hate saying it because this is just famous last words, but I really think we're watching like a real true ace develop. Like this, the way that his pitches move, the way that he was dominant last year, there's going to be league adjustment. I know 100% he's going to have some struggles. But in terms of a guy that is probably starting opening day for the Mets, so he's going to be on the roster from the start of the year. He showed that he can go deep into games. As long as he's healthy, I think he's going to be the rookie of the year pretty easily.
The one thing, he's the favorite, I think, going into the season. I think by a decent bit. The one thing that's funny, also, neither of us mentioned Trey Savage on the American League side. I just think that the Trey Savage situation is a point where the hype has gone past the talent. I still think he is very good, but just the way everything happened in the last postseason, going to be very hard for anybody ever on earth to live up to something like that.
Correct.
With McLean, the one thing I'm curious about in his sophomore season is that where does that strikeout rate land?
Yeah.
Because he's a guy who didn't get the swings and misses that were commensurate of how high his strikeout rate was. Like I think there's a much better
chance.
chance.
32% or something like that?
It was just a hair over 30%. I think it's more likely he settles in around 24, 25%. But the fact that he's probably going to be starting on opening day and he has rookie eligibility and he's likely going to have a 60% ground ball rate. I think that's going to be the thing with Nolan McLean. Like you probably still just grind your way to like a 3.4 ERA for 170 innings. And that probably, it's going to be hard to beat that for rookie of the year. But I think if there's someone that can beat that for rookie of the year, you know where I'm going with this?
Is it a hitter or a pitcher?
It's a hitter.
Okay, it's going to be a hitter. I don't think it's going to be JJ Weatherholt because I don't think you're a believer.
I'm a believer in him. I just don't think he's like rookie of the year.
I don't think you're going to double up Mets and go Carson Bench.
No.
Let me think. I
thought about Bench briefly, but is
it an obvious pick? Am I missing something?
I think it's an obvious pick. You love this guy.
Connor Griffin?
100%.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Connor Griffin could show up and do Ronald Acuna Jr., Julio Rodriguez rookie season stuff, like while being not only the best player like on his team, but like one of the best players in the National.
You want to do some chaos shit? Put him for NL MVP.
Well, that's too crazy. That's too crazy because he's probably not.
What would the odds need to be for you to bet that?
Plus 100,000.
Okay,
that's it.
What if he comes up rookie year, 30 homers, OPS at like 900, and the Pirates make the playoffs? That's pretty insane.
But then what would Skeens do? Like they might still give it to Skeens.
Yeah, it's fact.
If Skeens went 210 innings with a 1.9 ERA.
You know what the difference was? Connor Griffin wasn't on the team last year. Skeens has been good the whole time.
But yeah, Connor Griffin's just, as we get closer to the season, I think we're going to hear a lot more murmurs about him. His dad put up a picture on Twitter of him a little while ago where he was signing all of his autos.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, please give me one of those cards. But this guy's so good. He's freakish. Like he might show up to the show and it might not even be difficult for him.
Well, it's a good little segue into the manager of the year because my pick is Don Kelly, Pirates.
Hey. Don Kelly, talk about Don Kelly. Why's that?
I just think the Pirates could legitimately make the playoffs. Like I'm drinking the Pirates Kool-Aid so hard right now. I think for the National League Central, again, not to make this totally all about betting, but I think they're like plus 1,000 right now to win the National League Central. And relatively speaking, I think that division still sucks. I don't think that there's any real dominant good team. Like the Brewers are good. They're the best team on paper, I think. But also at the same time, if they trade Freddie Peralta, that pitching is going to be chaos. So to me, I think the Pirates have the best pitching in the division. I think they have close to the best bullpen in the division. Like they have some fun chaos arms out there. And
close to the best bullpen's crazy.
Why?
That's close to the, but they're not. I don't think they're close to the best bullpen. I think their best case outcome is like one of the best bullpens in that division. But that's what I'm saying. One of the best. They won't get close to the Brewers bullpen.
That's why I said close. The Brewers are the best still.
Like there's a long way to go for this Pirates bullpen right now.
Fine. They're not close to the Brewers, but I think they're a close number 2.
I think the Cubs are also handedly better than them.
Ugh, Cubs stink. They're so boring.
Cubs bullpen's fine.
They're so boring. The Cubs are boring the hell out of me. I'm out on the Cubs, but I do think that the Pirates could be a playoff team at the absolute worst. Win division's a pipe dream. I think they could be a wild card team. Their starting pitching is arguably one of the best in baseball in terms of just exciting, fun arms like Paul Skeens. Bubba Chandler is awesome. You're going to see some Jared Jones at some point. Mitch Keller being a 4 in that rotation completely changes who Mitch Keller is. That guy used to be the ace. Put him in the 4, and then all the other fun arms that can fill in, along with the fact that bringing in Ryan O'Hearn, that's a major upgrade at the position. You got Brandon Lau. That's a major upgrade at the position. if O'Neal Cruz ever decides to be a baseball player, this is the season. If he is like 110 WRC plus this year, Pirates are making the playoffs.
O'Neal Cruz also sneakily figured it out a bit in center field towards the end of the year. It wasn't pretty, mostly because he still just made like once a week the worst play you've ever seen in your entire life. Also, Braxton Ashcraft came on very strong at the end of last year. Pirates have a full fleet of homegrown pitchers as well,
which is pretty cool.
Which is pretty amazing. It's like 6 deep of guys who are like from their system. And Manager of the Year is kind of just like who surprised you the most.
Yeah.
Who while building a narrative. So the Pirates are a great pick for that. Don Kelly. I went crazy. Tony Vitello.
Oh, he was my other choice.
Because everyone in the league is going to be staring at Tony Vitello and the Giants this season. There's going to be a huge... I'm not going to say it's like a target on their backs, but everyone's looking at what's going to happen there. This is the least Major League experience ever coming to a Major League bench. And the Giants are they're a very solid team as things are currently constructed. They're probably about between 81 and 84 win team. So a few things go right. Like if the Giants wind up finishing ahead of the Padres in that division, they come in second, they get a wild card spot. There's no other big surprises, there's no other big stories. He'll get the Manager of the Year fully on vibes.
And I was gonna say like people just love him too. Like I love Tony Vitello. I think he's awesome. He was sick at University of Tennessee, came from Missouri before that. And like you mentioned, like the eyes are going to be on him. This is a unique thing that we've basically never seen. We always talk about like first-year managers, blah, blah, blah. This is as first year as it could possibly get.
This is the first year. He's never been a Major League bench before. He's never been a Major League organization. And people were mad about that when it happened.
And they got Tennessee guys all around him. I'm interested to see how he like uses the guys that he used to coach. Can you even think about that like in Major League Baseball? Like I used to coach these guys in college. Now they're on my Major League team. That's something that like happens in other sports, not here.
Yeah, the NFL happens. It barely even happens in the other sports. Like it's very rare things happening. But I think it gives them a good shot, good runway, and like they're probably a 500 team. So if you go a little bit better, standard deviation, they have good top of that rotation. Like there's a world where this thing works well for them.
Those are our way too early MLB award predictions. Let us know in the comment section what yours are. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Don't forget to subscribe to The Windup for more baseball content. You can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
And I'm Draft Neck Mark. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.